Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Happy Monday. Happy Earth Day. It's Earth Day. Uh, yeah. So I mentioned at the end of Friday's stream, I said, "Oh, I kind of want to make aranciata," and then I repeated that several times. Um, what I meant was arancini. Completely different thing. Aranciata is orange juice, or something like orange juice. It's orange drink. Um, Arancini are fried. They're croquettes. They're Italian croquettes. Um, and I didn't make them then because I didn't want to go through the fried food angle again because I had just done fried food. Um, and I still feel like I don't want more fried food, so I'm going to try. We're going to attempt. You can see it hanging open in the back here. We're going to attempt air frying them. See what happens. See if it works. If it's a complete fail, I'll work something out. I don't think it's going to be. Air fryer's pretty good. You can't. It's got a smaller footprint, so we might have to do it in batches, but we'll see. I've never used the air fry mode to actually try to fry something. I don't think that air fryers are very good stand-ins for actual oil frying. They're very, very good at certain things. The thing is, you can bake croquettes instead of frying them. And that's basically what an air fryer does. It's a very high heat, concentrated convection oven, which can simulate the high blasting heat of a fry, but you don't get that. You don't get what you miss out with not using oil is the thermal interface. You lose that thermal interface that just lets you completely immerse your food in heat. The air fryer is trying to do that with just air, but air is a much worse thermal conductor, which is why prepackaged foods meant for the air fryer are always covered in oil. Not literally covered in oil, but there's oil in the mix so that when they heat up, that can serve as a medium. So we'll see how it works. I just saw there's something on my burner here that's going to burn if I turn that burner on. So let's get rid of that real quick. But yeah, so what we're making today are essentially croquette. Because I'm not using rice, proper aranciata is made with risotto. Because any croquette is some sort of starchy substance that you can put a filling in, or you can just make it by itself, and then you bread it and you fry it. Aranciata is a local croquette that is usually made with risotto and then either a meat or a sauce filling. Hi, Wee Former. Kinda. I was trying to do something with potatoes. My connection for today with Earth is potato. Let me get out my potatoes. I just got a new bag of potatoes. Oh, look, there's the guy who made the potatoes on the potato bag. We're gonna get out some potatoes because we're gonna start with some potatoes. So yeah, they're gonna be around, and we're gonna have to make a sauce for them as well. Also, highway former. I just bought these potatoes literally today, and it's already got an eye sprouting. Probably because it's spring. Spring potatoes are always a little bit of a gamble. The other thing that convinced me to go with aranciata, sorry, I said it again. I keep saying that. Aranciata is orange juice. Arancini. The thing that convinced me to go with arancini is that this, which is these little mozzarella balls, was on clearance sale for 99 cents, which means I have to use it, but also it means that I got cheap cheese. So we're going to try to put those in the middles and see how big they are. Maybe we won't do all of them. But it means I need quite a bit of potat. And the potat needs to be boiled, mashed, for which, you can see it up in the corner here actually, I got a brand new toy. And by brand new toy, I mean a very old toy, but it's new to me. They need to be boiled, mashed, and cooled enough that I can handle and shape them. So we're going to get those guys started right off the bat, right first thing. And I'm not going to bother with a board. I'll just clean up the work surface when I'm done. We don't want skins because we want this to mash nice and smooth, which also means we're going to cut out any eyes that I can't get with the peeler, especially the sprouty ones. Never eat the sprouty eyes on the potato, or anything that turns green on a potato. Potatoes produce a chemical called solanine, which is toxic. It's why the top part of the potato plant, all the leaves and such, and the little berries, is poisonous. It doesn't produce it in the roots or the tubers, just the top parts. So your potatoes are fine, but the potatoes will grow new tops if you let them. And those little tops will immediately start producing solanine, because that's what potatoes do. So if your potatoes are turning green, don't eat the green parts. You can usually cut the green parts away. Likewise with the sprouty bits. You can cut the sprouty bits away. Eventually, it'll start, you'll get this sort of harsh flavor, even if you cut away the green parts, because the potato has gotten too old. If potatoes are getting sprouty, it's a sign that you should either use them up immediately or throw them away, because they're going to go off the rest of the way soon. We will rinse these as well because they're a little bit dirty and I'm getting dirt on them. I mean, you can cut them off because green is icky too, but in the case of potatoes, green is also bad for you. It's because they're related to nightshade. Although, it's not super strong. It's not like it's going to kill you. But it'll make you give you a tummy ache. A lot of it'll kill you, but a little bit of it'll just give you a tummy ache. So it's not like it's a huge danger, but not exactly good for you. There's also some. I have to dig those spots out because I don't like them and I don't want discolorations in my finished mash. I might get out one more potato since I have shaved a little bit more than I was expecting off of some of these. So let's get out one more potato. Do one more potat. Big potat. Slightly smaller potat. Who doesn't love a potato? Apple of the earth, which is why I'm using it for Earth Day. Pomme de terre. Oh, it has been a noisy day around here. There's some construction, or I think it's tree pruning actually, going on across the street. And they've been real noisy about it. There's been a flock of grackles that have been assaulting my bird feeders. And they're very noisy. And then the wind picked up and was buffeting stuff around noisily. It's been a noisome day. I know that's not what that word means. Oh well. Okay. Get rid of the potato skins. We're not using the skins today. Grab a board, and we're going to just do a quick bowl rinse to get that loose, that little bit of loose dirt off. Jen! Hi. Gosh, it's been a while. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Happy Earth Day. What's up with you? Okay. Jello pretzel salad. Okay. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, but I feel like if the words Jello and pretzel are in something, the word salad can't also be in that thing. Let's see, I need a big pot. I need a big pot. Oh. So, potatoes grow underground, and the rule is if it grows underground, put it in cold water, bring it up to a boil. If it grows above ground, boil the water, and then put the thing in it. So we're putting these in the pot. We're going to fill that pot with water, and we're going to bring it up to a boil. Oh, I'm aware of those Midwest salads that steal the word salad, appropriate the word salad. Well, whatever it ends up being, I'm sure it'll be delicious. We're gonna have to wipe that off because those were some wet taters. There's our taters. Should I salt them? I probably should a little bit. Kind of a layered bar. Pretzel crust, Cool Whip, cream cheese, and Jello on top. Sorry, Jen, that's not a salad. That's there's not even any like fruit element in it to make you pretend. Okay. Big pinch of salt, but not a ton of salt. I'm not trying to make this like pasta water. I just want there to be a kiss of salt in our mash when we mash it, which I could add. I could have added afterwards. Bookwoman, hi. Tell you what, before you return, let's give this a wipe down. Get rid of that. Potato schleem. So I found a thing that I have been looking for ages. I see these. Oops, you guys are over there. I see these at the thrift stores all the time. This hinged handle with the ring and a plungy thing. And they just look like this. And they don't do anything. This device, as it sits, literally doesn't do anything. Because what is missing, and the reason that these all end up at thrift stores, is they're missing this part. Well, I found one that had all the parts. It's old, but it was also very cheap. That is a finished tool. That is a potato ricer, which I am going to use to very finely mash our potato. It's the same as the little as our little garlic press, actually, and I see these as well. I see a lot of these arms with the little plunger and the little tube missing the actual press part. If you've got a tool and the part that makes it work has been lost, nobody wants this. Don't give this to Goodwill. They'll put a price tag on it and put it out because they don't know what it is. But don't do that. It's just a waste. People have done that so many times with this one. But I found one that actually has the thing, and it's intact, is another thing. I had one of these once before where it had the parts, but the frame was so badly bent that you could not get the thing out of there. This one was slightly bent, but it was enough that I could sort of wrangle it back into a good workable shape. You can see stuff doesn't quite line up. This one was really well used over the years. It's worn, it's beaten up, but it's like still a solid piece of kit. So I'm surprised someone got rid of it, honestly. So that's going to hopefully. I haven't actually had a chance to test it. I just found it, so and I've washed it. All I've done so far is wash it. So I guess we'll see if it's as good as I think it's going to be. You do have to cook your potatoes pretty soft to get it through here, but it should ensure that we have no lumps. Okay, our potatoes are coming up. Let's get this out of its little container. Because I don't want these to be sopping wet when we put them in. Which means I need to drain them off a little bit. For which we are just going to use a strainer. You know, they're slightly bigger than I think they looked when I looked at them. I think they'll work. They don't need to cook through. I just need to get them warm enough to melt so that they're nice and melty on the inside. But our arancini are going to end up probably about that big in order to get that fully enclosed in there. How many do we have? 12, 20. Okay. I don't know if we're going to end up using all of them either. So the base part, the actual arancini, are going to be very simple. Mashed potato, wrapped around these guys. Mashed potato should still be damp enough to have stuff stick to it. We're going to roll it in an egg mixture and then roll it in seasoned breadcrumbs. And those are going to be our arancinis. If they're about that big, ooh, they're going to be a snug fit to get a bunch of them in there. They're going to be a snug fit to get them in the air fryer because we're going to put them in. I'm going to attempt to air fry them rather than oil fry them. And this is the size of our thing. So if they're about that big, if they end up about as big as the lime, they don't want to touch. They have to have enough room. So we might be able to get 8 of them in there if we really jostle them around a little bit. That's going to be a consideration too. So I should fill that up. Thinking 2 batches, yeah. But I'm also hesitant to. I don't know how well the air frying is going to work because you typically, as I was saying at the beginning, I don't think that an air fryer is a stand-in for an oil fryer. It can cover for certain things, but it is not a one-to-one across the board. Like I wouldn't do fried chicken from raw in the air fryer and expect it to be anything like fried chicken from in oil. Now we have the advantage of the potatoes are going to be fully cooked. The egg part of the wash is going to be on the egg part is going to be the outermost layer, so it'll be very easy to cook that. And the cheese is cheese and can be eaten as is. We don't need to do anything to it, so it only would need to be heated. I think we can get away with the air fryer. Selena, peeking around the corner. That is an adorable little lurk. Hi. So that's the main body, but if you've noticed, that's just starch wrapped around cheese, which, while delicious, isn't really a complete flavor profile. So we're going to make a sauce as well. And the sauce should be the other flavor elements that we don't have. So we're going to have fatty, starchy, and savory. So we need sour tanginess, we need spice, and we need some sweetness. And I happen to have this little beastie, so I'm thinking of making a spicy tomato sauce, which would be on theme as well. And then probably should serve a vegetable. Asparagus is looking real nice. I picked up some asparagus. We're not using this today, but we need to use this guy soon too. This is the other half of the dough from my, I don't have the name to look at. I can't remember what it's called. The Russian calzone, whatever that is. This is the other half of our dough. I wrapped it up real tight, and it is slowly unwrapping itself as it tries to expand. So I got to use that up too. But yeah, as far as I know, nobody's here, Selena. So no one has yet arrived. It's strange. Are we leaking? Oh, we are. That needs to go over a bowl just so that I don't have a puddle. Because I already have a puddle. So, a sauce. I don't want it to be too chunky because the balls are balls. Arancini are spherical. So they aren't really good at scooping. So the sauce needs to be thick and it needs to stick to the outside of things. which probably means we're going to need to cook it down and maybe add a little bit of starch just to tighten it up. That. You can't tell what any of these are, and I know you can't. That. This. Some garlic from the little garlic house. These are our standard powders. Some oregano. This is my homegrown basil. I think we're going to add some lemon because I want to tang it up. This is a can of tomato. I have some fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes have been coming in and looking really nice lately, so I keep picking them up. But it feels like a shame to use a tomato like this to make a sauce. So I'm gonna dive into a can. We've already talked about this. I picked it up for a different thing and didn't use it. It is a habanero. So it's a hot pepper. So we're gonna make something spicy, and of course garlic. And an onion. Let's get a pan out and start playing. Let's get a pan out and start playing. Put the heat on that pan and start prepping stuff over here. Let's grab a couple of garlic. Move my powders. Ooh, that garlic crushed weird. Weird. Why did that one crush so badly? This one crushed the way I expect them to. Yeah, leave the bucket open. The bucket is just about full. And an onion or a shallot. I have a definitely a shallot because the shallot is showing some discoloration. So we're going to find out and maybe have to do some trimming. We're showing discoloration on the skin. That means we have my potatoes are up to a full boil. Let's turn them down a little bit. Oh, yep, there's a bad layer in there, but it looks like it's just a layer. So I can peel it away. Oh, yep. Yep. We're going to lose some of our shallot, but better than losing all of our shallot because I hadn't used it. Fortunately, with these layered things, shallots, onions, and such, ooh, the small lobe actually is looking much worse. The layers kind of shield the interior. Ooh, yeah, it's kind of gotten a gray pallor to it. The layers kind of shield each other. So oftentimes, if it starts to spoil, it will spoil along the layers rather than penetrating right through to the middle. So you can just peel away the gnarly bits, and underneath should be perfectly good. No, no. One more, yeah. Okay, we lost quite a bit of that side. But, again, not a total loss, which is better than if I had just pitched it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, if you're squicked out by it, don't do it. But if you're not, then trimming away the gnarly bits can give you at least a partial return on your vegetable. Get the shallot in there, get it softening up. We would like it to be cooked basically until it's able to fall apart. We might blend this at the end, actually. Just to ensure that it's a nice smooth sauce. We're going to build flavors as though we were going to serve it as is. And actually, I think it needs a little more onion, and I've got some just normal onion as well, which will also be much easier to, much faster to cut. I ended up trimming a bit more away than I thought I was going to on that shallot. Oh, Jen wants a moisten. Un momento. Actually, Jen, shout yourself out. You have shout out powers, I think. Jen streams sometimes. I never know when. I've seen you on and then clicked in and it was like, well, that's it, and then you were gone. That was. Get some salt on that onion. You wanted a moisten. I need a glass. You got to do the full shout out. I don't have exclamation mark commands because I don't have the bot running. Thank you for the moisten. Yeah. I don't know what Jen's schedule is. I can't tell you. I wish I did. But Jen streams sometimes. Actually, we form her too. I'll be over there in a sec. It seems like everybody streams these days. Oh, well, follow Jen for streaming when the urge hits. I have to have a schedule. Although I don't have a posted schedule, I have my own schedule that I stick to, because if I don't, I won't stream. And I have the urge frequently to not stream. Oh no! Well, 26 seconds. Boo. Also follow WeFormer, because sad tummy. Okay, we're gonna let that develop some fond. Oh, we should put the pepper in there too. Let's see what this pepper looks like. I bought this guy when it was fresh, and now it's kind of leathery. Okay, we're gonna lose a little bit of that as well, because I didn't get to it in time. The end is bad, but it looks, or the end is good. It looks like it started to go off from the stem. So we're gonna lose not that much of it, unfortunately. Unfortunately, but it's a very hot pepper, hotter than I usually go for. So we should be fine with what we've got here. We're gonna same treatment to the garlic. I'm going for the crush and mince option on the garlic instead of the tool, and I'm not sure why. I just felt like it. I must remind myself not to touch my face. I can already tell that there is some hot pepper in the air. Over here. Scrapey scrape. Scrapey scrape. Okay. Onions, pepper. Let this stuff get toasty. Yes, good shout. Wash hands. Good shout, wash hands. I should have got some gloves. Every once in a while, I think of like, oh, I should have some gloves. For something like, I just minced up a habanero. That would have been a good time to have gloves. Okay, hands washed. Slide back over here. Let's see how this stuff is developing. We're getting our little brown bits. I've got the temperature on kind of low over here because I don't want to burn any of these, and we aren't in a rush. You know, this actually would have been a good time to do a proper sofrito with the carrot and the celery in there, because the carrot would help amp up our sweetness, but it's a little bit late now. They should all go in together so so none of the elements overcook while we're working on it. GG. Let's get our can of tomatoes open, so when I need it, it's ready. Brown. Yeah, there's a little bit of fond forming down there. Not a ton. We don't want a ton, because I don't want to. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not sad about losing the bit of that pepper we lost, because I just breathed in the gases coming off of this pan, and they're spicy. I have some 2019 Pinot Noir that we're going to add to our pan. It was $7 on the discount shelf. Go to your liquor department's discount shelf to look for cooking wines, because you don't want to get just garbage wine for cooking, but you don't want to get something that's nice either. And what ends the discount shelf is they take sort of that second shelf, mid-range stuff, and they mark it down to the cheap prices, just to get rid of it. And that's perfect for something like this, because then it's drinkable if you want it, but also you're not worried about dropping the money on Ooh. Ooh, there's definitely a spice in the air. Whew. Can't buy alcohol at the market in New England. That's unfortunate. Try the liquor store. I know that Wisconsin has like the most lenient liquor laws ever. I can walk a block up to the gas station, two blocks up to the gas station, and get hard liquor, spirits, like immediately, which is, I know, not the standard. Anyways, we're cooking the alcohol off anyways. We want the, did I just say anyways at the beginning and the end of that sentence? Yes, I did. Whew. The wine picked up the brown bits that were forming at the bottom of our pan and is going to provide some acidity and some depth of flavor. But we don't want the alcohol in there. We want to burn that away. It indeed. It indeed. It's harder to find discount liquor in Virginia. I suppose some places, maybe. I don't fully understand why stuff gets shifted to the liquor department to the discount shelf, because it's not like it's going bad. I think it's just because it's not selling. Well, I know in Minnesota, right next door. Also, Hi, Liz LeFay. In Minnesota, right next door to me, they don't permit alcohol in like grocery stores or multi-use stores like a Walmart. Um, George! Hi, George. Let me shout out George real quick. George is here. Happy Earth Day, George. We're going to cook this tomato paste a little bit before I add the rest of the tomato. Just to get rid of that raw tomato paste flavor before I... Because nobody likes that. But then we are going to put in our can of, not crushed, diced. I think we're going to end up hitting this with a, sniffly ever since I started cooking that pepper. Right, I think that's more common, Liz. What I've got is I could go to the gas station and get a bottle of like vodka, which probably is too lax, too easy access. There's probably a middle ground. How did I start talking about alcohol? Oh, it was because I was recommending people get wine from the discount shelf for cooking purposes because it's not as bad as bottom shelf wine, but then you're not worried about spending the money burning it away by cooking it, because we just did that. We poured some red wine into this to deglaze our pan, and then we burned off the alcohol part. Yeah. George also cooks, if you're not familiar with George. George also cooks over on his channel. What you got on tap today? Or not today, this week, George. I know last week was chili week. You've never cooked with wine? Well, you're missing out. You've probably eaten with wine. Wine gets used in a number of French and Italian and Spanish and sort of all those Mediterranean cuisines as an ingredient, as a cooking ingredient. And the alcohol gets cooked away. So it's not like you're getting a dose of alcohol. It's never 100%. So if you're like super, super sensitive or have some non-dietary reason, it's never going to be 100%, 100% unless you burn it completely dry. But what I did here, that it's typical wine, so it's like 12% or something. 13%. I would be surprised if there was more than, I don't know, 0.25% left in the pan before I added to the tomatoes. It burns away a lot of it very quickly. Now, if you pour it into something that's already liquid, you won't burn it off. If you're cooking away your wine, you put it in the pan with the non-big mass of liquid and cook it down. We're going to add some of our taste powders to this. Onion powder, garlic powder, we already added our basil and our oregano, my favorite black pepper. NBA playoff sports themed baking and cooking. That sounds fun. I don't have anything planned for sports tie-ins. I am doing an Earth Day thing, which is today. Happy Earth Day. I bet you our potatoes are overcooked, which will be fine because we want to turn them into a complete mush, but I'm going to fish one out. Oh yeah, the Fallout party. Where's my scooper? It was great. I wasn't the only one who brought stuff. Of course, that wouldn't have been enough for a big group. We also had Nuka-Cola, which was just Coca-Cola with labels, but we had Fancy Lad snack cakes, we had Brahmin stew, we had... There was another thing. Sugar bombs. So we had lots of things. Let's grab a potato. The potatoes are definitely overcooked. You can tell by the way that it's all rounded off. The tumbling has caused them to... oh god, and yeah, it's just soft as butter. Okay, let's get those out of there. I've overcooked them, so we're gonna make them mush. No, I only made the things that I made here. I did not make all the food. We all shared making the food. I actually made 2 things of my own volition when I was only expected to make 1 thing. And what I made was Nuka Lurk cakes and iguana bits. Should have been paying more attention to those taters. The Nuka Lurk cakes were crab cakes, and we added some green food coloring. And then I burnt them a little bit, which was an accident, but it meant that they were like really dark brown on the outside with these craggly cracks all across them that green was showing through. So they looked actually really cool at the end, although they were a little bit over toasty. I should not be boiling my spatula. And then I made iguana bits, which we used up the old frozen package of alligator, which I had to trim down a little bit. The cakes were as popular as I expected them to be. The iguana bits got a little bit dried out as we were trying to hit done temp on them, and as a result, I think they were a little bit less popular. And my sauce didn't work. Let's use a glass bowl. So I ended up just making a basic remoulade for dipping and putting on the cakes. We are going with glass bowl so that it does not get super hot. But let's get the device. And I am pretty sure... Oh man, I really overcooked these potatoes. Oh my god, they're so soft that I could probably mash them through the strainer. Dramatic. Let's turn our sauce down a little bit because I'm not paying really close attention to it. They're kind of mashing themselves through the strainer because we overcooked them. I have to use a spoon because they are so mushed. Well, that means we're not going to have any lumps. Oh man, look at all the water in them. There you go. Riced potato. Honestly, the degree to which I overcooked them means I didn't need this, but at least it works. Uh, well, they might be freezer burned. That definitely happens. You definitely have to get it down in the. We lose little bits of it. Okay. Well, for $5, this is not bad. It's not as nice as I think it should be, but again, it was $5 used, so it works. Am I going to drain that water? I don't know. I probably should. In which case I should. Use the strainer. The extra water is because they were overcooked. Everything weird that's happening right now is because I massively overcooked these potatoes. You can see I accidentally mashed it just by scooping it out. So not exactly the most accurate test for how this would work with properly cooked potatoes, but what are you gonna do? Anyways, we're going to. Nope. See, they soak the water up right away. That's I think we're just gonna let it. Tasty. I think we're gonna just let. Tastes like potatoes. I think we're just gonna let that be in there. And there's a little bit that wants to stick. The same way with our little garlic crusher. A little bit wants to squeeze around the edges. And it's probably slightly worse in this case because this thing is just a bit bent. Oop, and an ad snuck up on me, as usual. While we've been doing this, my sauce is probably burnt. Let's go find out. Nope. Turning the heat down was a good idea, though. I wonder if we can put the sauce through that masher and get these tomato chunks mashed out. The sauce needs some water, though. Whoa! 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 Turn my back for a second. Oh my goodness. King, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. King, Argaroth, and Raiders. Scarred Vulcan, Talmud Alexander, Maggie was taken, Star Bunny, FT Michael, Freeboo, Bishop, the King himself, Maudlall. Wow. Welcome, welcome. I don't have any audio alerts, but hey, come on in. Let me pop my face up for a sec here. You just got on the tail end of me doing this, which was potato ricing. And then tending to my sauce over there. What were you doing? Hi, let me give a shout out real quick. Welcome, welcome. This is a surprise. Happy Earth Day. Shout out. Happy Earth Day, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are making, I almost called them aranciata again. Arancini. We're making arancini. Clean up my potato drippings there. We're making arancini, which are fried. They're supposed to be with risotto. I'm using potato because I wanted to use potatoes. The fried balls, we're going to put these, these are cheeses. We're going to put these cheeses in the middle. And then I'm making a spicy tomato sauce over here for dipping. My only connections to Earth Day are the fact that they're round and potato. Oh, well, happy Earth Day. The Earth only gets one day, and you forgot. Oh, if you haven't followed, oh my God, I haven't been raided in so long. I forgot how to do a raid. Thank you for the follows. I don't have follow alerts, so feel free to be anonymous. Me, I'm jovial. I cook here on the old Twitch. We're making nonsense. I always make nonsense. We're making stuff. Correct. Pomme de terre. Welcome. I have been saying for, look at my hand, I'm not wearing a watch, close to a year that I need to do audio alerts for things like this. And then I don't do it. And then I don't get things for so long that I forget about it. I'm going to say Jinxie and not try to pronounce the second half of that. Hi. If you're not familiar with King, I think I've seen you do some non-gaming things every once in a while, but mostly King does gaming. But it's a nice, fun, happy, cozy time over there. And unlike me, he's professional and has like a properly organized stream and events and things. Oh my goodness. Well, everyone's got to start somewhere. You should, maybe you shouldn't go back and look. I don't know if I even saved that one. My very first stream here, which was cooking, was a disaster. I got one viewer. I had one viewer who stuck with me for 3 hours and then left, and a different viewer came in and stuck with me for the remaining 2 more hours because I was trying to make cheese, and it turned out I didn't know how to make cheese, and also it took a while. Okay, over on the stove we have spicy tomato sauce coming together. I am trying to slow cook it to really soften up the tomatoes so that I can, so that I can spill it over the side immediately, so that I can blend it, because I want it to be a dip for our arancini, which are round and not very good at scooping up dips. So I can't really do a chunky sauce for it. On the other side, we just riced with my brand new, and by brand new I mean it's probably older than I am, but I just got it from a thrift store, potato ricer. We just riced some definitely overcooked potatoes, but that's fine. They will be nice and soft, and they just need to be cool enough for me to handle, because they are going to be the starchy exterior of our balls. They're a little bit wet. I think if I spread them out, oh, they're really hot on the inside too. So I think if I spread them out, they will cool off as well as dry out a little bit. They're a little bit too wet and a little bit too hot. They're really soft. I did lose track of them a little bit and overcook them while I was handling the sauce. So we'll see how that affects things. And then we're going to attempt, the big attempt today is actually we're going to try to air fry them rather than deep fry them. I should not be boiling my spatula. Don't boil your spatula. We're going to attempt to air fry them because the reason I didn't do these on last Friday was because I didn't want to have any more fried food. And we came to today and I still didn't want any more fried food. So we're going to see if we can't not oil fry them. And that's the plan. That's where we're working so far. I'm going to add a dash of lemon to our sauce because I want that sauce to be tangy. Oh my goodness. Blindsided by a raid. But hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I just dried my mouth out with all that chit chatter. And we need to make our dredges as well. Oh, there's some potato got away. I do enjoy that there are no lumps in our potato. That is going to make making the balls very, very easy by comparison to how we've done in the past when I did potato-based things and flashbacks to making gnocchi and rolling them up and there being a big just like chunk potato stuck in there. Oh no, don't worry. I get distracted all the time when no raids at all are happening. I'm just waffling around and then I turn around and something has burned. You should see how many times we've just burnt the heck out of something. Okay. I think that'll be fine if I throw a lid. Nope, too small. A lid that fits. And keep it on pretty low. We can jump over. Okay. They're going to be relatively soft. So I won't be able to do the shake breading. But they're also going to be not that big. No, I'm always frazzled. I start out frazzled. On Friday, I literally started out the stream having already made a mess before I even went live, because I was trying to thaw out some frozen pizza dough, and it turns out the bag wasn't watertight. So when I gave it a water bath to unthaw it, it just filled up with water. That was a surprise when I pulled it out of the bath, and it was just, oh, it's just full of water. There's a water balloon now. That was fun. We're gonna season the pan here with our tasty powders. Yeah, I had no idea. I assumed that a plastic bag would be watertight, but I guess not. Is this going to be enough seasoning? I don't want it to be super heavy seasoning, but it's got to be something. You always over-season the breading when you do a breading, because you will lose the flavor more than you think in the frying. But we're not oil frying this, so let's not do the smoked. Let's go with the standard sweet paprika. Yeah, that was garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. And I'm going to add some sweet paprika. Put my powders away. I'm tempted to add herbs into the potato directly, because we have an unseasoned breadcrumb. It's going to be our outermost layer. Do I want to salt this layer? Do I want to salt the breading? I don't think I want to salt the breading. I'm tempted to salt the potato. I'm tempted to put some things in the potato. I know conventional wisdom is to salt the breading. There's already a bit of salt in the potatoes. And there's some salt in our sauce. Let's taste the potato. Let's taste the potato for salt levels real quick. Yeah, okay. Taste your food as you're going. Yeah, exactly. Unless you're working with like raw meat, in which case probably exercise some discretion. Anyways, that was all just the seasoning part. We're gonna add a lot of breadcrumbs to that. Should have done it with a whisk to begin with. Okay. I'm going to say conventionally, no. You don't taste the raw meat before you include it in before you cook it. But sometimes you do. It depends what it is. But generally, no. There are some odd things, like when you're tasting a sauce, for example, it should be a lot stronger than you think you want it to be. because you're not going to eat it like a soup. You're not going to eat it plain. It's going to be eaten with the thing that you're eating, that you're making it for. So sauces generally should be too flavorful, because then when you add whatever it is, they balance out. And likewise, something like this, I know we're going to lose some of this flavor just because that's how this breading frying process works. So over seasoning this is helpful. Whereas this is going to taste pretty much how it tastes now when we're done. Just because not much is going to happen to it in between. Also, I didn't taste these guys. We're going to sacrifice one just because I want a snack, but also to taste one. That's good cheese. Mmm. 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 Ooh, that's fine. Okay, this stuff should be, yeah, plenty cool. We're going to bring this right over to us, and I'm going to do these one at a time. We're going to do these one at a time from here to here to here, and then they're going to sit here for a sec, and then I'm going to transfer them so that I avoid getting a big glove of cake down breadcrumbs. We'll see how this works. Egg. Looking at those potatoes and the cheese and comparing them, I'm worried I might have not enough. I'm a little worried I have not enough potato to do what I want to do. I could potentially bulk it out with a little bit of flour, which would also firm it up. Do I need a second egg? Oh. So, Raiders, King, and people who were here before, what are you having for dinner? Always excited to hear about other stuff. And also, if you ever have any questions about anything I'm doing, jump in. Okay, what are you having for midnight snack? Also, thank you for the moisten. Moist. Before I commit to doing this, because my hands are going to be all gross for a little bit, let's check on our sauce. Looking pretty good. Still a little high in moisture, but it's losing just a smidge through the cracks as we simmer it over here. We are good. Jen had corned beef hash. King Shin instant noodles. Those are good noodles. You know what I'm going to do before I start? Swing us over here before I start. We're going to add just a smidgen of oil to the potato and stir that in. I'm losing track. I don't normally have this many people hanging around. I lose track of the chat. Corned beef hash. Somebody said corned beef hash. I do like corned beef hash. I didn't make corned beef hash out of my corned beef from St. Patrick's this year. We will add another egg after looking at all of that. We will add one more egg. I added a little bit of cream to that as well, just to give it a little bit extra richness. Ooh, that egg has a little dealy bopper on it. We're deliberately not seasoning the egg portion of this. If I was making like a fried chicken, I would throw some hot sauce in here. Everyone always says that I make them hungry, and I'm just like, well, make food. That's what I do when I'm hungry. It's easy. Okay. I've washed my hands several times. We're going to move the eggs so that I don't make a mess on the carton of eggs. I kind of wish I never buy it, so I don't have any because I simply never buy it. But I kind of wish I had some of that powdered Parmesan cheese to add to this. It doesn't come up very often, but there are a few things where that like really fake powdered Parmesan cheese is just the right thing. But okay, let's got no choice but to make these with my hands, so let's commit. Take a little dab of stuff. We nestle a cheese, and we bring it around. Nice and circly. Roll it in our egg. Roll it in our breadcrumb. And then I'm going to let that sit there. Jay! Hi! Yeah, we're making arancini today, Jay. And I am just starting to form them. And yep, I got some egg on the inside of that one, so I guess that's just going to be something I have to live with. I'm sure everybody here knows Jay as well. Jay's in like all the channels. I almost think that this would just, it's because it's wet and slightly sticky enough that it might even adhere breadcrumbs without the egg layer. We should try that one? I don't think I want to get egg on the inside of all of these. Okay, I gotta think about my hands as I'm doing this. Left hand holds the... Okay. I can do this so I don't get egg on the inside of every one of these. If I shape with this, if I shape it with this hand, fold it in, and I use this hand to roll the egg, then when I grab the next one, the egg will be on the outside. That's the plan. And then my right hand can do the breadcrumbing. So roll, roll, roll. Breadcrumb. Perfect. And then I can go like so. Nope, this one's going to have some seasoned breadcrumb on the inside. I guess that's the trade-off. Yeah, I think that works. It probably would. But I think the egg is going to improve the texture, even since I'm doing it without the deep fry. And I do want to see how this works with our the air fryer. If I treat it as though it were a deep fryer, because I've never done that, because I don't trust the thing to act like a full deep fryer. So you're right. It probably would be fine. Oh, we have an ad coming up. I'm going to let it do its thing, since I'm just kind of repeating something here. If we had any excitement, I would snooze it or run it early. 5. 5 is about half of our potato. If I do 6, throw the machine on. Make some more. We definitely have more cheese than potato. Oh, hey, while I'm thinking of it, well, I suppose now there's an ad break. I didn't think of it until just this second. And my hands are gross, so one of you would have to do it. I have a Discord. If you're in my Discord, you can grab an invite link and invite people. Where you get the, I think, the best version of my... I don't have a Discord thing. You'd have to manually go there. Because again, never set up that bot. I should do a Discord, just an exclamation mark Discord. I should set up the bot. I have the bot. I just haven't programmed any commands into it. Okay. Rinse my hands off. I will grab that. Real quick. Just in case anyone wants to jump in, see photos, or like photos of old ones. Yeah, I know. The bot does all the work. Anyways, there's my Discord. Super low activity Discord. I have only ever pinged people 2 times ever. Mostly it's there for pictures. But also there's a suggestion box, and like, you can't post links. Oh, that's right. I disabled that. Because I had a person. Can you read? I hope everyone can read my link. Yeah, people are showing up. Like I said, there's a suggestion box if you have something you really want to see. Otherwise, it's just a place for kind of sharing food pics. I think in the interest of keeping airspace around them, we're going to go for 6. Because I know I can fit 6 in here without crowding them. Maybe eventually I'll use the Discord for something like real, instead of just a repository. I also have an Instagram that I haven't updated in a while because I find it annoying. But I probably should put pictures there as well. Okay. Let's find out I was doing a little bit of research, so I'm not completely out of the blue here. We're gonna go for 410 minutes, and then I think we're gonna turn them and do another 5 minutes. And while they're getting started, unfortunately the magic pot lives in the corner over there where there's no cameras because I don't have a place to put it. Yeah. Take care of yourself, King. Thank you so much for the raid. Good night. I appreciate it a ton. If you haven't already followed King or Argy, I still call him King, but now's your chance. Otherwise, take care of yourself. I totally understand the raid and run. Although you didn't raid and run, you raid and hung out. But I don't think the potato. I'm going to do these slightly different. I don't think the potato is going to soak up the egg so fast that I have to worry about this. So food and balls. Food and ball. Well, there's always food talk around here. Even in the few times that I've not cooked, which happens every once in a while, where I do something that's not cooking. I end up talking about food, and I often will barge into other people's channels and talk about food. It's kind of become my thing. Eventually, I'll play a video game. I should keep an eye on my battery power as well. I've been having microphone issues. Microphone issues. I think we're going to get 5 remaining out of this. No, I could squeeze. I think I can squeeze 6 and get a nice dozen. Ooh, that one's a little bit under. I should have grabbed another potato, I think. Okay, if I make sure to get every little bit of the potato, I think I might need to pinch some off one of these guys. I think we're going to run just barely short of sealing both of these. That one's slightly on the small side. And I think that one's also going to be slightly on the small side. I could have gotten bigger cheeses, but smaller cheeses were unfortunately not available. The little bitty guys, the little cherry stone ones, would have been the perfect size for what I want to do here. Okay, here's my solution. I'm going to scrape the buildup off of my fingers and add it. Okay, hopefully that's enough. We have some extra cheese. With some extra cheeses. Yeah. Doing them all in a batch like this is better than doing them one at a time. Okay. So I have been recently put onto a show on Netflix, and it, I think, is very good. I did give it a watch, and it's very good. It's got a Japanese name that I can't remember off the top of my head. The English name is Delicious in Dungeon. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. It's an anime about dungeon people, or people adventuring in a dungeon with no food, and they eat the monsters that they kill. And it is a good time. It is a good time. It's ongoing as well, so you have not missed the boat. Although if you're waiting for a full binge, it's not quite all the way out yet. Not a sponsor. But I would be. Can you imagine getting sponsored by a TV show? Oop. I smushed that one a little bit. Okay. The remaining balls are ready for the fryer whenever it is available. I think we're going to have enough time to potentially make another side item, as long as it's something quick. But let's slide over. Take a peek at our sauce. I also have egg left. We could turn that leftover egg into something. Where did I put? Did I put it away? I did. Oop, our sauce has dried out a little bit. But not fully. It's actually looking... I think it's probably slightly too dry. But I don't really want to add a bunch. Well, no, oh, no, I'm getting it. Okay. I was worried we might stick. But I think it's looking quite good. I'm going to take the heat off. Cybertraz! Hi! Oh my goodness. Let me give a shout out to Cybertraz. I always forget. All right, you've been here so many times. I never give you a shout out because I forget. Because I forget. It's in my mind because I was just there today, but I'm so forgetful. Hi! The deliciousness is probably going fine. I say probably because this is just the sauce for our arancini, which I keep wanting to call aranciata, which is not what they are. Aranciata is orange juice. Our arancini, but the actual arancinis are in the magic pot over here, getting blasted with blasty heat, and hopefully coming together. We're gonna clean up real quick here. The sauce needs to be shot with our immersion blender real quick. Which I haven't used in a bit, so we're gonna dig that out. There's the beep beep beep. Because the sauce is definitely way too chunky for what I need it to be. And I want to use up this egg, because there's nothing in that egg that I'm worried about, because we rolled potatoes and cheese in it, both of which can be eaten raw. So it's not like when you have a chicken dredge. How are these guys looking? Ooh, we had some explosions. They look very soft. They look very soft. I'm gonna move stuff. They might be too soft. Ugh, can't move it that far. Running out of room. Temporarily back in the box. Let me slap down a trivet and let's haul the whole can over here to take a peek at them. I was gonna flip them. So, because our potato is so soft, I think what's happened is that the shape of the ball was being supported by the cheese, by the spherical cheese in the middle. And that and then when the cheese melts on this guy and on this guy, it loses that structure and collapses. They're not complete mush, but they are definitely more on the soft side. This might not have worked, which always is a danger. Oop, the pot is hot. That one especially. I'm going to turn that one last. That has me extra worried for the ones that are a little bit thinner in our second batch. that they might not hold up. Why do I keep putting my potholders places where that's not right here where I need them? Okay, this one. Ooh, this one is gonna just disintegrate if I try to flip it. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Saucelys wants a moisten. I can give you a moisten. Moist. I also think our breading is not browning very well, and that is likely because it is very dry. It needs like just a smidgen of oil on the outside. And I don't really have a good way to apply just a smidgen of oil. Yeah, they're not the best. I don't have a spray bottle available for oil. I attempted to purchase a generic like spray bottle from the hardware store to put oil in, and the oil ruined the mechanism. And the ones that are like made for oil are like crazy expensive for just a spritzer bottle. I don't have a oven spray like a Pam or any of those things either, because I don't like having the propellant. Sometimes I'll get a little bottle of spray olive oil that's not propellant. It's just a pressurized can. That stuff's nice. That would be perfect here. And I don't buy them very often because I don't use them very often. Because the situations in which I need them are very, very slim. I have a brush. Usually when I need to apply oil to the outside of something in a thin layer, I use the brush. But we have to be very sparing because they're a bit delicate, and the brush tends to lay it on kind of thick. Oh, yeah, actually, it's to the point where I'm just going to kind of... Okay, well, we have learned, and I was worried that they would behave in a manner like, well, not exactly like this. I thought they were going to have more structural integrity, but that they weren't going to cook the same way they would in oil. Okay. I just kind of drizzled it gently with the brush. We've committed to these guys in the pot. We're going to put them back in there. We're going to blast them for another 5 minutes. 5 might even be too long. Okay. And we'll leave those there because we're going to need those in a sec. Okay. Okay. So things are... well, they will be tasty regardless. That's not the concern. Where did I put the concern is where did I put the cap to this oil? Oh, it's next to the oil. I could not see it. Okay, okay. We're doing a troubleshoot. Cybertrez is hungry. People always say that. You know what the irony is? I often make myself less hungry streaming. Not because I don't like the food, but because it distracts me. And also I'll like take nibbles of things. How do we handle that issue? I think overcooking the potatoes may be the root problem here. I think if they were a little firmer, they would have a little bit more integrity. But also the cheese just might not be a good filling for these with the potato. I think you might need something a little more structured. Like, you're supposed to make these with risotto, but you cook down until it is just super dense, and then you can shape it like that. We're going to blend up our sauce regardless. Okay. Now I want it to be thick, so I really would like to not have to add any liquid to it at this point. Okay. Yeah, streaming really distracts the mind. That is for sure. Uh, Also, gaming. As I've mentioned, I don't do much gaming here on the old channel. Um, when I'm gaming on my own time, though, I will get so sucked in that I'll forget to do everything, and then when I'm done, I'll stand up and be like, "Oh, I'm starving. I have to go to the bathroom. My legs hurt. All that stuff." I like the thickness of our tomato goo here. We're going to get it out of the container and into a dish. And I am going to think about the other balls and how we could potentially treat them if the ones that we have in there are too exploded. That has come out exactly as it was in my head, so that part is on point. And we have a little bit of extra. It didn't quite fit in the dish. You know it'll be tasty. Just do that. Okay. He beeped. Ooh, that's got a spice to it. Boy, I hope you can't quite hear that. My neighbors think of shouting at his dog. Yep. Okay. Well, moment of moment of moment of truth. Okay. They have not completely exploded. They have all lost integrity, but it doesn't look like any of them have just gushed out their cheesy fillings. They're all at least in one piece, even if they've lost structure. Set these where I... Okay. I'm going to move stuff. I'm not making a second thing at the moment because I'm just kind of troubleshooting. I'm going to oil the second set in advance. But let's get those out of there onto a plate. Let's see if I have to think about structural integrity. That guy looks the best, so I'm going to try to get him out of there first. Okay, that one's not too bad. You know, I think they're definitely very soft. We won't be able to like stack them up, but they are not, that one might be. For the most part, they're not just falling apart. They've all just kind of sagged. And I bet you as they cool down a little bit, they will also firm up a little bit. This one might be a toast. Yeah, I think that one actually did leak his cheese into the grating. Okay, we have one casualty. Which I am going to not directly plate. Okay. Man down. We hardly knew ye. Can I get some sevens in chat? Oh, they do look yummy. I'm hoping that they will. Oh, they're real soft. I'm hoping that they'll firm up a little bit as they come down in temperature. Do we now do the other 6 in here and trust and hope? Or do we come up with a different means to heat them up? I'm not doing a deep fry. We're not setting up oil at this point. That is not an option. I don't really want to preheat the oven either. Oh, we have an ad. I guess I will think about that while the ad is playing. Think about that while the ad is playing. Oh. I've decided. Can I try to fry them like meatballs? I think we'd have the same problem, where they would just lose integrity, except in that case I would be actively turning them and I'd be more likely to rupture them. I have decided it is decide time, and I have And I have just dropped them. Oh no. Why did that slide? Oh no. Oh shit. Well, that's a well, I guess we have to think about what else to do with them, since they are all now deformed. Um, oh, crap. Okay, well, that's not good. First of all, I have a mess. Why did that slide? That was sitting there literally the entire time we were cooking the other ones. Perfectly fine. They're not lost. That one's kind of lost. Why did that fall? Okay. Disaster. This is probably the biggest disaster I've had, where I just completely dropped something. I am going to sweep up my breadcrumbs because I'm not stopping here. But we're not using the breadcrumbs because there's no way to salvage them. We have to vacuum in here. My floor is not clean enough for me to want to use breadcrumbs from the floor. Okay. Okay, well. Oh, that was sad, because I was just about to say what I had decided to do was I was going to roll these in oil. And now what I've decided to do is take the broken chunks of that one that completely fell apart and use them to shore up the other ones. Maybe. It might not even work. They might not stick because they have the breadcrumb layer. Oh, man. Did anybody clip that? I don't know if I want to remember that. That one is not gonna. Okay, well, that's such a pitiful little plate, though. It's such a pitiful little plate, though. I am gonna put the sauce on the plate, but it's still a pitiful little plate. Ugh. You guys couldn't even see it happen. It was just off screen. Off screen disaster time. Anyways, this is what I had decided I was going to do with them, was because they seemed like they had some good integrity on the outside, and I think that the oil was helping the outer surface crisp up. So I was going to say I'll roll them in oil while they're cold. That one's a loss. I'll roll them in oil when they're cold, and that should give us... Okay, well, and that should give us hopefully some more integrity in the frying, and then I immediately dropped it. Immediately fell. Well, I guess there's a first time for everything. We're not going to attempt to flip these. We're just going to give them the initial blast because I don't think they're gonna hold up. Oh, I'm sad. I'm sad about that one. Oh no. Oh, dropping stuff. The frustrating part is it wasn't even that I dropped it. It slid off. Yeah, that's the curse of live TV. If I had dropped it, then I'd just be mad at myself, and that's fine. But it was just, you can't even see it. Just off the side this way is the trash. So I can scrape things right off the side and they fall in the trash. With the lid down, I use it as a supplementary table. And that's where I had this. I had this sitting on the supplementary trash can lid. And for some reason it slid and flipped. Carbon Jen, sorry, I don't know why I called you Carbon. I was going to call you Carbon. Carbon says, your Jello thing was supposed to have nice layers, and the Jello sank. Okay, well, give us a picture, if you have one. If you're not too embarrassed. I'd love to see it, even if it's not how you imagine it. Yeah, see? I was right. They're soft, but now that they've cooled down a little bit, they are, in fact, firm enough to pick up. They just softened from the extra heat. So I just need to retain their integrity while they are cooking. I wonder if mixing some egg into the potato, so that as the potato gets fried, it can firm up. And at that rate, I might even want to add some more starch. No, I'm just going to brainstorm solutions out loud, even though we can't test any of them now. When I was ricing the potatoes initially, before we got the potato to come through the holes, it dropped a bunch of water. If we could have kept that water out, I think we would have had a firmer potato mixture at the end. Although I think the water was largely there because I overcooked the potatoes. So not overcooking the potatoes probably could have been the solution I was looking for. That could have gone either way. Oh, was there a question? I was super distracted. I don't see it. I don't have any more plans for the rest of the egg. I was gonna, I don't know, while it was frying, while I had 10 minutes, egg cooks really fast. I was gonna do some, I don't know, egg something, just to use it up. Make like a really crude French omelet on the side, or an asparagus French omelet, or just egg to. Ooh, no, I can't. I can't start brainstorming a new project now. We're 2 hours in, and I'm salvaging a disaster. I can't kick off a new thing. Don't tempt me, Frodo. Ooh, 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 ooh. I want to see. I want to see. And if you want to see, come hang out in the Discord. The Jello thing. It sure doesn't look like a salad. I'll tell you what. Okay, if I slide... Okay, I think we're going to get a decent plate, assuming the ones that are in there don't completely explode. Hopefully they get some decent browning. We got some decent browning on the first batch. Oh, why is my oh well. For some reason my preview is not playing. I guess I never look at it, and I only just now noticed 2 hours in. I gave them 10 minutes the first time. We have about 3 left. I initially gave them 10 minutes, and then I was going to flip them and give them 5 minutes to ensure that both sides got a chance to get the direct blast. They were nice and melty on the inside. Now, obviously, these have firmed up a bit. I can peek at any time. The air fryer is not locked when it's frying, so I can peek at any time. We're going to take this one and move it away. I don't know what I'm going to do with that one. That one has raw egg on it. We don't have a recipe today either. I'm just kind of making it up. We have modest rupture. Not terrible, but modest. I'm going to let them have the rest of their 10 minutes, but I'm not going to give them a flip. We're going to gently extract them with the silicone tongs here. It's times like this I'm glad I have the silicone tongs. Any of my steel or wooden tongs would crush these things trying to pick them up when they're hot. Okay, so we're going to give those the remaining 2 minutes that they've got. And then we're going to think about our final moments on this earth. Well, that's right. My camera station is full of seed starters. Those can't be there. Oh, I should have taken a picture. Oh, okay. I've already cleaned it up. I should have grabbed my phone and taken a picture of the disaster on the floor and posted that as a fun tidbit. Oh, okay. Well, on this Earth Day. On this Earth Day. Well, you know, perhaps having these things collapse and fall on the floor and splatter all over the place is emblematic of the state of the Earth in the year 2024. Let's go with that. I've cooked an allegory for everything that's wrong with the earth. And despite it all, it's still going to taste good. And that's the lesson that we. That's the lesson. Never too late to salvage it, and it's still tasty in the end. Oh, I'm going to need those because I am not holding that thing over here up in the air. I keep walking back and forth. I have nothing to do right now, so I'm just... There it is. There's the beep. There's the beep. There's the beep. Oh, I should have pulled them when I peeked at them. They have died. I should have pulled them when I peeked at them and they were like just a little bit ruptured, because now they're big old ruptured. They exploded. They exploded, and because they're on this grating, they're all going to be stuck to it too, because the cheese will have dribbled down the grating. Oh, when I peeked at them 2 minutes ago, they were a lot less splody. Kind of tuck them in on themselves, but there's cheese underneath the grating because it just ran through. Okay, well. Oh, thanks, King. Oh, it's been a mess since you raided. Oh my god. Oh no, that one's dead. That one's toast. That one gets to live on the plate with the other one that's completely toast. And I bet you this one's gonna as well. Oh. Yep. He's dead. Okay, well. They will in fact taste. Well, they can't all be winners. I thought I was going to go away with not having a huge mess today, too, because I was only going to use a few things, and then... Okay. Well, hang tight for a sec while I take photos of the ones that are less dead. And you know what? Let's take photos of the dead ones, too. It'll be a special bonus photo. And then I'll be right back, and we'll do our tasting. The exciting part. Yeah, I could get an angle where they're not completely destroyed. Okay. You guys, of course, get to see the top angle. But when I took them from kind of this way, these mushed ones are slightly hidden, so they look better. So I kind of cheated the angles there. I'm going to go ahead and pre-snooze the upcoming ad just to extend it, because we don't need that interrupting me while I'm doing my tasting. But then I guess let's taste them. The first batch, are now that they've cooled off to just kind of warm, they're actually firm enough to pick up. If I hadn't dropped the second batch, we could have had them all like this. The second batch are kind of gushy. So let's grab one of the first batch. Yeah, they've actually firmed up properly. It's amazing. Mm. The cheese wants to come out. Yeah, we had the 6 of them that were in there, and they didn't brown very well. So I oiled them, and it worked. So when I was thinking about how to get the oil on the second batch ahead of time, they were sitting over here on my makeshift table, which is a makeshift table, not a real table, and the tray of 6 sitting in the breadcrumbs slid off onto the floor, flipped over, dumped them all over the place. I managed to get 5 of them back together, but when here's the one casualty who I didn't have enough left to in case. But the impact had kind of flattened them all, and the breadcrumbs were kind of mixed into the potatoes, so they lost their structural integrity, and the second batch just exploded, which is what you saw just now. The first batch, however, in the time that it took for them to cool off, have firmed up somewhat. The potatoes have low integrity. They are tasty. Sorry, I just took a big old bite of that first one without saying anything about the food at all. They are falling apart a little bit. They are crispy on the outside. They're so soft on the inside. And this is definitely where we lost our structure. Now that I actually have taken a bite and tasted it, we should have cooked the potatoes less. They are as soft as like those school cafeteria perfectly smooth mashed potatoes, which is pleasant to bite through, but that's definitely why they didn't hold together. They didn't had that mashed potato layer had no integrity. Um, so good if you want just really soft mashed potatoes. These needed to be cooked a little bit less so that they could actually like hold. Um, and then the cheese in the middle, that first one, these have sat long enough that the cheese was no longer gooey. But I bet you this one we can attempt a cheese pull. Mm-mm-mm. Heckin' cheese pull. Wow. That was actually a really impressive cheese pull. I thought it was going to break. I did it over here because I was sure it was going to break, but it pulled. Damn, did that pull. Oh, I could really taste the breading on that one too. The breading is actually really tasty. I'm glad we put the salt in it. It's salty, it's savory, it's herby. It's not really strong, which is why I knew that was going to happen as well. These guys are falling apart. The sauce, our sauce, is sticky, rich, savory, and spicy. Mm. It bites you back, but with this mass of starch and cheese, it works really, really well. I'm glad I went hard on the sauce because this was always going to be kind of bland by itself, although it's not that bland by itself. You bite into it, and the herbs in the crust come through. Mm. Mm. I normally don't just sit here and eat. Every once in a while, I'll like it something so much that I'll have it half done by the time I wrap. Honestly, I think we're very close. I think the one mistake, number one mistake, was overcooking the potato, and also not cooking quite enough potato, although I think we lost some potato volume in the overcooking. We dissolved some extra starches and poured them down the drain. And that led to our structural issues here. And the structural issues here led me to standing around and waving my arms while our second tray slid precariously. Yeah, I think that's... And I can't blame you for that one, King. I overcooked the potatoes before you even got here. Um, yeah, the container just... Although, again, I don't think I would have been waffling around and had it sit there that much had I not been trying to salvage the first, try to figure out how to make the second batch survive the frying. Honestly, the air fryer did a much better job than I was expecting, and I'm impressed. Although, you definitely need to oil the outside of whatever you are frying. The first ones that we put in there without the oil were very pallid. An oil spray, in this situation is exactly what you need. So we will keep that in mind for future attempts with the air fryer for this type of thing. Oh, that's so sweet, King. I like to think that even when things go wrong, as long as I've learned something from the mistake, from the troubles, it's still a win. In this case, I think this is still a win. Definitely could have gone better, but I know where our mistakes were. I also think that this concept would probably work better with risotto as the starch layer. Although it would be harder to form them because risotto is a lot stickier. Because then you'd end up with more like a rice ball, like a Japanese style rice ball. Rice starch just tends to form a more gluey binder. We could have, that's actually something we could have done as well. I have some potato starch, just powdered potato starch. We could have added potato starch to our potatoes just to force them to firm up to give us some structural integrity. This happens when I work without a recipe as well. Things just, who knows. 2.5 hours. Wow, the time flew. The time flew. Let me peek at my battery. It's fine. I don't know. Last time it was such a thing, and today it's fine. Again, for no reason. Yeah, I think I've... I'm looking at the cleanup. We're gonna have to vacuum and sweep and probably mop because there's egg in that. And oh my god. Okay, well, that's gonna be fun. Oh yeah, this was just... I had an idea and I worked to make it real, and there it is. And it's getting there. Anyways, let's pop back to my old face. Let's see who's on a Monday and who's not about to depart suddenly on us. Not too many. How long has Jen been on? Did we rate Jen last week? I forget. We did 3 last week, so I lost track. I forget. So we're gonna rate Jen. Jen the human, who is playing a game called The Chants of Sennar, which I was watching a little bit of earlier. It's some kind of puzzle adventure thing. Jen does a lot of puzzle adventure things, so perfectly on brand. Yeah. And here we come to it, the end of all things. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks to King for the raid. Thanks to a bunch of people for some follows. I really appreciate it. Thanks to some people who showed up in our Discord. That's always a treat. I shouldn't look at that while I'm live. Thanks to Jen for cooking while different Jen, well, for cooking while we are cooking. I always love to hear what you guys are doing at the same time or have done earlier in the day. Happy Earth Day. It's still Earth Day in part of the world. Here comes our countdown, so I'm just going to say goodbye and wave at you. And then I'm going to reach over and push the button that says stop streaming.